What if I told you that earning a six-figure salary, having a huge net worth, could actually be a trap? Sounds crazy, right? But for a growing number of people, financial success has become the very thing that costs them their freedom. Let's dig into why that is.
Just let that sink in for a second. Imagine that, a net worth of over $300,000, an amount that sounds like total financial security, but you're still terrified. And this isn't some made-up story. It's the reality for a surprising number of people.
And this whole situation, it actually has a name. It's called the golden handcuff. And when you hear that phrase, it sounds kind of nice, right? Almost like something you'd want. But as we're about to find out, it is anything but. All right, so to really get our heads around this paradox, we first need to tear down a really powerful myth about wealth. One that, let's be honest, most of us have been taught to believe our entire lives.
This is the dream, isn't it? The idea that once you hit a certain income, a certain net worth, your money problems just melt away. You're in total control, you have total freedom, you've basically won the game.
But what if that's just not the whole story? What if the actual numbers tell a completely different and kind of shocking story about the lives of these high earners?
And this is where things get really interesting. There's one specific stat that just changes the whole conversation. It's a number that seems to make no sense at all.
41%. Now, on its own, that number might not mean much, but when you hear the context, wow, it's pretty staggering. Get this. According to Pyment's Intelligence, a whopping 41% of people earning over $300,000 a year are living paycheck to paycheck. Just think about that for a second. All that money comes in, and poof, it goes right back out. There's no cushion, no safety net, even with an income that massive.
So this is the heart of the problem. This is where that feeling of being terrified to quit your job comes from, even with all that money. And this whole situation, well, it has a formal diagnosis.
This is it. This is the golden handcuff in action. But what exactly are we talking about here? Let's break it down.
So here's the definition. It's not just about having a high-paying job. It's about that job becoming an absolute necessity. The only thing that can fund a lifestyle that now feels non-negotiable. That big salary, it's actually what's trapping you.
And this is what's so wild about it psychologically. It's a prison, yeah, but it's a really comfortable one. And you build it yourself, brick by brick, with every little lifestyle upgrade, every decision made to show you've made it. And before you know it, the walls are just too high to get over.
So how does this even happen? How are these chains actually made? Let's look at the specific financial choices that just chip away at your flexibility.
Well, it really boils down to one thing: high, locked-in costs. And we're not talking about a fancy coffee here and there. We're talking about major lifestyle inflation. The huge mortgage on the right house, the private school tuition that becomes a must-have, the lease on a luxury car that says, "I've arrived." Every single one of these is a massive, relentless payment that chains you to that job.
And here's the kicker. Any one of those commitments, it probably seems manageable on its own. But when you put them all together, they forge this chain that feels impossible to break. And with every new link you add, your real financial freedom, your ability to make choices, just gets smaller and smaller.
All of this really makes you stop and think, doesn't it? It forces us to ask a huge question and really reevaluate what we even mean by the word wealth.
So let's put it side by side. The appearance is a high income and a big net worth. Looks like success, right? But the reality, underneath it all, is a mountain of high fixed costs and almost zero flexibility. The freedom to choose, it's been traded away for the appearance of wealth.
And that's really the big takeaway here. A high income is not the same thing as freedom. One doesn't just automatically lead to the other. In fact, a lot of the time, chasing that huge salary is the very thing that destroys your freedom.
So this all leads to a really important question for all of us to think about. When you look at your financial life, or the one you're working toward, is your wealth a tool that's buying you freedom? Or is it just building you a fancier, more comfortable cage?